appearance here, especially since, you know, there is a good chance that DFYG might lean more towards banning out these roam picks. Again, the Cho, the Grok, and such.
Yeah. So, although we're in the draft, there's also another pick that DFIG needs to be careful of, and that's, well, I'll add two more. The Yuzong and the Alice as well. So, Onic have taken away the Hilda, because when it comes to the recent tournaments in China, as we mentioned also, Grok, Hilda, Cho, those heroes are actually prioritized in the roam, so the ones that can really bully. So as expected, as we called earlier, DFIG taking away the Kalea, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and take out maybe the Grok. Oh no, so Onic actually wants to set the tempo there, and they ban out the Grok. I think in the end, DFIG will end up with a Gatakacha maybe, considering that the priority for Onic will be different. I want to see them get a little bit more damage early on, but then they also still have to watch out for the EXP laner pick later.
Yeah, it just feels like they're throwing down the gauntlet here, though. The roam bans are very telling that they're trying to short that out. They know that, you know, attacking straight up into that gold lane doesn't feel productive. They know that they don't need to. They don't need to actually do that straight up. Zushin ban, again, very highly apparently damage oriented now, so that's a big difference. So gonna be removed by Onic, and as for this one, it feels like you should just ban out Choi at this point.
Let's see if they will, though. Even if they ban out the Cho, then the Gatakacha ends up with Onic. High Loss will be the last pick that you can go for in the Roman DFYG, and you'll have to commit the first phase ban pick up there. So maybe not ban out a roamer. At this point, maybe they'll ban out either the Eve or Kimmy, maybe. Wouldn't be surprised if they take out a mid laner. Or maybe a jungle pick. Lancelot, YSS still open here. And with the Grok gone, would be good. I thought that they'd keep the Yuzong open because they could pick it up in the first two picks on the red. But now Onic can dictate how this draft is going to go now with their first pick. YSS, Lance, both still open.
Yeah, very powerful picks. Even the Eve is open here for the taking. So lots of options coming in here for Onic. I love to see this. But at the same time, if you're DFYG, you're already trying to think ahead. Or can you even think ahead? Right now, it is going to be a Lancelot pick. Very, you know, it's a no-brainer. It's so easy to just go ahead and pick that up.
Yeah.
And there's there's a low chance you're going to what do you call that? You're gonna regret it.
Awkward spot here, but yeah, Lapu Lapu just lock that in right away, and then they will take away the Eve. But then the Gatakacha might actually end up going to Kiboy, and then the mid lane pick can come in later. But the Kimmy's open, Valentina's also open, so they might want to go into the second phase already with their gold laner. If they want to avoid giving the Harith towards DFYG to combo with the Eve, and Long has shown off that he can bully in lane playing the Harith, so that might be in the list of priorities for Onic to remove. Esmeralda is also open, by the way, and I wouldn't be surprised if Onic are considering picking it up here in this first phase.
Yeah, that's right. This first phase is pretty much a really strong one for Onic either way. They can kind of just think about maybe banning the gold laners later. Ooh, it's Claude.
Okay.
Interesting choice here for Skylar.
Yeah. So they match the range with the Farsa, and then they go instantly for the dive that they can get with the Claude. As we've seen, we got to see a Claude performance already in this stream, and it was just easy access. Oh, alright, could have been misremembering that with another tournament I covered recently. But yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. Claude into Eve, boom, right? You get the math. It's pretty obvious there. So I think High Loss would be great for DFYG. Or maybe, if they want to, they can go Ruby, but then they might run out of their main carry later. But I want something with an instant stun that can lock the Claw down. So later on, they can pick that, but they'll have to go into the second phase already, locking in their jungler. They get the Hayabusa.
Yeah, I don't blame them. So I'm expecting a lot of gold lane bans here for Onic later. For sure, you want to keep that Moss covered and Harif in mind. Just make it easier for the Claude to win out the lane, or not even win, right? Just to make sure that the Claude will survive that lane, and you should be golden. Now the bans here is going to be on XP for sure. Might want to also get rid of the CC here while you're at it. Gotcha! Getting removed here by Onic. Very, very proactive.
Well, even if DIANFENGYAOGUAI ends up with a high loss, and that's going to be a really easy Cho pickup there for Kiboy. So the awkward spot right now is for DFIG. High loss synergistically makes a lot of sense with your composition as a whole. But if you just want to block an annoying roamer, you pick up the Cho. Or you preempt that, you pick up your roamer for last, then you'll pick up a Khalid, while Onic will end up either making the choice between the high loss and the Cho. If it's the Cho, then there's a Khalid for the side of the FYG. Then at least you have roamers that both match each other's aggressiveness. However, there is the risk that once you're both level 4, that the Khalid just constantly keeps getting kicked towards the side of Onic.
Interesting. It is the next P ban, but it's not the CC. Huh. Alright. So are we expecting another roam ban maybe? There you go, the high loss.
Yeah.
Very well executed here.
So it's a choice. It's either Cho, Khalid, unless there's a name that I'm missing out. I think a lot of the top roamers that we're used to seeing, Gato, Cho, High Loss, Kalea got banned earlier. So now we'll see if the FYG will end up going for a fighter gold or a marksman gold. I think Moskov is what's going to close out their draft later. I still think Onic should lock in the Khalid here. Or if they want to be really surprising, they pick up or roam Akai. We've seen that once or twice from them, if I'm not mistaken. And that does pop up, but I prefer the Kali just a little bit more.
Agree. I think the Kali just matches Kiboy's movements as well. Akai is great for dealing with Lapu Lapu. Also good for the Cho. So I would love to see that. I don't know if it's in Kiboy's arsenal right now. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Again, we mentioned this yesterday. Akai really heavily underutilized here. And Lutfi feels like he's going to be happy with the Trizla. I guess this is pretty good. I won't blame it. Alice is okay too.
Oh!
Badang is the pick. There you go. That's better.
Okay. So you ever know, they offered over the Khalid and they thought about it, but there's good layering right now. I think the Harith would have been better if it was the Khalid on the other side. If they go for the Khalid here, it might be tough to make it work. You have a lot of dashes, sure. But I just like them to be safe and pick up the Moskov. But hey, Long Man, he really felt it when he was playing the Harith yesterday. He's confident. He wants to continue that. A lot of mobility. This should be an interesting one. I like the switch up though. I really thought they'd go for the Khalid. They instead go for the Badang, wherein, you lose a little bit of the being able to match the speed of the Cho in terms of the pressure you apply on the map. But then now you make it difficult for the team fighting. You will have to devote a mobility spell of your DFYG, because most of the time Kiboy will be landing the fist break into the fist crack and then the penalty zone as well. Onic rounded out their draft well, but there is still a way for DFIG to win this. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult to pull off.
That's true. Might be a bit more convoluted. Well, at least their Harith doesn't have to deal with an Esmeralda, right? So there's that. But then again, you have a very aggressive lineup here in Onic Indonesia, which again, not surprised at all. We are going into game 1 of Onic Indonesia versus DIANFENGYAOGUAI. We're gonna see pretty good stuff for sure, especially after they hit level 4.
If Zed is able to start this off well with E1, it should feel really good to be able to have a great Cho game up against Kiboy and Sans. I like that eventually Onic decided to match the range for range. We did see Farsa and Eva's matchup earlier today, and I mean, the good thing is it's just great coverage for both.
Yeah, great coverage right now. Kyrie being given a hard time here by the rest of the FYG, but no. Kiboy is here to make sure that doesn't go too badly in their favor. So it's going to be the FYG with some pretty decent harass going into the mid trio that we talked about up so much. Look at that. Just so much aggression. You don't know when they're just going to pop off suddenly.
Yeah. Here comes Zed, though. Great knockback from Kiboy. Zed committed his flicker earlier in that little exchange as they were trying to put the pressure onto Kyrie, so that might come back to haunt him. Hopefully he doesn't dive a little bit too deep, and if he is going to be overcommitting, then DFIG needs to make sure that they cover him up with kills, because that flicker is going to be missed for the next 70 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. At the very least, he won't be going too aggressive. So at least there's that, right? You can just go Shenpo, go Jeet Kune Do as much as you can, but just don't make a move that needs a flicker. So you should be fine. And again, containing this mid trio of Onic Indonesia is already step one. Of course, that's Kyrie on the Lancelot. Really, really scary. I wonder like when they're gonna start popping off. Actually, maybe just waiting for Kiboy to make to hit level 4. But yeah, they're gonna have to fight around this turtle now.
Both EXP laners level 4 as well. Watch out for the penalty zone of Lutfi.
Yeah, 100%. Lutfi could set it up. There goes the bravest fighter used up, and the target is not really anyone in front. It's Yon on the Eve, and that's gonna be first blood going over to Onic, trading it up for the turtle. And sometimes it does feel like that gonna be worth it, but no, you got the major objective. You're also gonna lose out on your jungle because of that. Don't forget, we are on the clouds though. It's gonna be quite easy to get back into the fight, but then it's all about the gold here for Onic. Keeping it steady and keeping it even will usually give an advantage over to Claude.
Yeah, really good combo brought up there. Oh, the entry!
Oh, that is not the entry that I was expecting. And Zed uses the flicker again. I don't know. Every time it's on cooldown, Zed just wants to go for it, man. Seems to be the play here for DFYG, but they're not really getting any results.
You know, a little bit too gung-ho on the use of the flicker, but maybe eventually it's going to slow things down and it will eventually get rewarded into an even bigger win. Onic still has the kill lead. Gold still very close, and now you see double laning for Skylar, leaving the gold lane more to get a bit more farm in the center of the map. DFYG's been very river and jungle focused though, that at some point they're going to really have to let go of the priority in the middle, try to get a win elsewhere into one of the side lanes, because if they're just going to be hard pressed onto just trying to stop the mid trio, they're going to lose out on some big wins that they could be getting in the sides.
Actually, I noticed that the camera just hasn't really gone up or down at all. Like, the camera's just literally on mid. So, I get what you mean, right? Like, it feels like all the pressure is right there, and Onic is happy to play with that.
We've just been coasting in the river for the past 4 minutes, mainly.
Yeah. It's funny, but that's where the action is. Like, what are we gonna do, right?
Yeah. Onic even also not forcing any issue of the sides because they know where DFYG wants to play. Yuan already forced back by Lutfi.
Ooh, that's a decent one. Vale going over straight with the bravest fighter. Will be able to take out Kiboy as well as Lutfi. Has a flicker as well, forcing a flicker out of sounds, but here comes Kyrie with that kill. But all said and done, it's actually DFYG with the advantage. They will be able to get this hurdle uncontested.
Retribution used already by Kyrie, and it looks like he's gonna lose his purple buff. Invade right away by DFYG, and they are slowly getting a little bit more advantage in the game so far. No big clear wins just yet, though. No towers fallen. DFYG are taking it to Onic. Great kick. Ooh.
Yeah. Look at that. I was about to say, like, you know what? DFYG is doing it without any flashy play. They're doing it very slowly, and then all of a sudden, of course, Zed's gonna use a flicker in the way of the dragon. Of course, right? So, right there and then, it is, stuff like that is gonna buy time. It's gonna buy more tempo for DFYG. The goal lead is actually not going up as much as I thought it should. It just means that Onic is keeping it in their favor as well. But Kyrie getting chased out by 2 members. DFYG might be bad. There's a big airstrike on top side as well, looking to make something happen. But Long very happy to play around it. Of course, inside that Zaman Force, but even the Zaman Force can't actually save him that long. No pun intended. Subion and Zed very close by, and they're going to be forcing Onic back as well.
DFYG are going to be remiss that they lost Long there. That eventually ended up as a big win for Onic, getting the first kill onto the opposing gold laner. Good thing Sans was able to fly on out of the real-world manipulation, but now DFYG, since they saw how much was committed by Onic up top, they will now go for the turret in that lane instead to trade it out. That's the right call. And 2 of the turrets broken in the map now have been taken down by DFYG.
Man, DFYG are scarier than I thought they would be so early on in this game. Then again, it is to be expected, right? You got an Eve, you got the Lapu-Lapu, one of the strongest early to mid heroes. I mean, even late. So, one of the strongest heroes. Honestly, the Grace, the Land of Dawn. And at this point, they're just leveraging their early game beefiness, even the threat of the Way of the Dragon, to get more advantages in the early game.
Zed gets the vision. So now Yuan and Long will hover around the mid. The position looks good for both. No clear advantage towards side lane minion waves, but I think Onic, if they end up getting a big win in this turtle, will look towards mid or the bot already. Vel goes in.
Yeah, as usual, on cue, Vel uses Brave Fire, starts up the fight, but the big penalty zone coming in from Luthi actually will be able to disrupt it so much. Yon will go down, and it is just going to be blood after blood, trade after trade, kick happening here, but the body of Zed going to keep Luthi alive just for a few moments more before he will eventually fall to the blades of the Shadow Kill. Actually, Super Ken not really quite done yet. But he does see Kyrie and decides to just back off, at least for now. That could have been way worse than it was, or it looked. But it's like Onic is going to have to fight off so much more aggression this time around. DIANFENGYAOGUAI boosting that goal lead to 3.2k.
Yeah, Super Ken was able to win the turtle in the end. DFYG was able to even out the aggression that Onic showed. Again, penalty zone coming in big time. DFYG were able to handle it very well. Long and Yi1 might have gone down a little bit too quick in that fight, though. Still, in the end, it was recovered by Super Ken. Very interesting game. Not going the way that I expected it to, but I am pleasantly surprised with what I have been seeing. Most importantly, so from DFYG. They are taking Onic to the brink here. Still a very close game and definitely not 100%. It's DIANFENGYAOGUAI's to lose. They still have a little bit more progress to make, but those 2 turret advantages, that's the little lead along with a little bit of gold that they have ahead of Onic that they're really holding on to.
That's true. Really holding on to that. And I actually completely agree. This was not the way that I thought it would run. No, except maybe after that Lapu-Lapu, because when they pick up the Lapu-Lapu, that's going to start the fights more often than not. And when he does start the fights, Vel knows how to navigate. And maybe it's down to the fact that it's just so hard for any single or any 2 members of Onic to deal with a rampaging Lapu-Lapu. They don't really have the tools to deal with it, especially this early in the game. Maybe that's one of the factors here contributing to them. But look at that, Skylar! Almost getting taken out immediately. That was almost 100-0. Luckily, he was able to get out of dodge here, but not done yet. They're going to be able to buy so much space for this Lord. And now they're going in. Del, Freya's fighter, throws down Landshaker. No one home. And it's going to be a soft reset. Long already using up the Salmon Force. This could be some pretty good stuff. Kyrie is dishing out here on the side, but Zed already used the Flicker Wave, the Dragon combination. That might be bad. That might be the ticket here for DIANFENGYAOGUAI to actually make more things happen. Kyrie's up on front, wants to make it a 50-50 if ever, but looks like they're going to decide against it, at least for now. Or will they? Don't know if Vel already has the way of the drag. Or sorry, he already has it. The previous fighter actually. It's going to be back up. Tries to go for a bush check and the flicker in straight into Sans. And look at that Lutfi. Gonna get taken out quite quickly. Super Ken is on the killing spree. Look at this guy, just unstoppable so far. Even Kyrie's Lancelot is having a hard time dealing with it. And now that's going to be Lord number 2 going over to DFYG.
DFYG, color me impressed how they pushed and pulled that Lord twice or thrice. Really dragging it out, not committing the 50-50, making sure that, okay, we'll bring it down low, we'll bring Kyrie out, we'll bring Onic a little bit closer to force them, but then they already have bodies way ahead, stopping any form of aggression that Onic would want to do to really try and heavily contest. Then they soft reset it, or the first case I believe was a hard reset. They get kills, they go back, bring down the Lord a bit, bring Onic closer, then they reset again. That is tremendous play by DFYG to bait Onic out multiple times, and now they are getting closer to a 7,000 gold lead. Super Ken now has a BOD and he is 3-0-1. The 2 Indonesians in DFYG have been stellar against Onic.
You can tell their knowledge about the opposing team right now is really helping out a lot for DFYG, knowing the tempo of Onic Indonesia to some extent. So they're doing very well, and DFYG are now just camping out in the jungle here of Onic Indonesia. Now, if you're Onic, what's going to be the play here, man? Like, how do they climb themselves out of here and stop the snowball?
Yeah, with how they're built, it's gonna come through the fight. Oh my goodness! Super Ken just finding Skylar like that. He tried to cancel it out, but it was a bit too early on the flicker.
Yo, they're starting and they're not stopping. DFYG, target after target is falling. Lutfi and Kyrie are all alone to defend against this big wave on the top side, and all remaining members of DFYG. This might be a big ask, but they are going to try to see if they can clear up this wave, and that's going to be a no-no. Kyrie, with all his tools, will not even be able to slow him down, and DFYG take down Onic Indonesia in game number 1.
DIANFENGYAOGUAI. And you see how getting even that game win means to them. A confidence boost for DFYG to take down Onic in a game. The series is definitely not over yet, and we may be on the way to seeing 3 games, but it is impressive. You cannot take away from the win of DFYG in this game. The draft, what they pulled off, the fact that they focused on the roam priorities with the bans. They picked up Cho at 4. Terrific drafting and even better execution. What a game by DFYG.
What a game, man. You saw that DFYG were so giddy. They were jumping literally after that win. What the hell is happening here? Man, oh man, Super Ken, I gotta say, man, BTR GOAT, he learned so much. You can tell he knows how to deal with Onic Indonesia's playstyle. You can tell that he has played with him time and time again. The way that he's actually dipping and diving and anticipating their moves, very impressive, I have to say. Yeah. Especially for Vel, by the way, he's like my personal MVP for this one. Vel on the Lapu-Lapu, knew when he needed to go, knew